All right, I think we should be starting. It's 3 minutes past 10. I'm sure there will be more that will be joining us in a few minutes. So I think everyone's ready. Prof. Wendy and Angel, good morning to you. And of course, ni hao and good morning and welcome. I am John Dison, SCU Metro's Regional Director for Emerging Markets. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. It's a pleasure to connect with all of you again in this exclusive webinar designed specially for our valued Chinese partner agents. First and foremost, I'd like to express our sincere appreciation for your continued support and trust in Southern Cross University, particularly for the growing number of applications to the Master of Teaching in Early Childhood program. Your commitment to promoting SCU to your students plays a significant role in their success and obviously in ours too. Today's session focuses us on one of the most meaningful postgraduate courses we offer. You'll hear directly from the Associate Dean, Wendy Boyd, who will present the real value and graduate outcomes of the Master of Teaching Early Childhood. And this includes employment opportunities, placement experiences, and why this course is not just about getting a degree, but about making a real difference in the lives of young children. In addition, we are proud to share a very important news, major news, I would say. Southern Cross University has been ranked among the top 500 universities globally very recently by Times Higher Education for 2025. We consider this as a significant achievement that reflects the growing global recognition of SCU's academic quality and research impact. I know how important university rankings are for Chinese students and parents when choosing a study destination. So when you combine this new global ranking with a program like the Master of Teaching, which is a course with strong outcomes and high employability, it gives you a powerful value proposition to share with your prospective students. So, for example, whether your students are asking, is this university globally recognized? Or will I get a good job after I graduate? You can confidently say, yes, SCU delivers on both. So we hope today's session will give you the knowledge and confidence to promote this program even more effectively. I will be recording this webinar and will send everyone a copy so that you could share with your prospective MTech students. And also, please type in your questions in the chat box and we'll answer them later in the presentation. So now I would like to introduce our recruitment manager in charge of China, Ms. Angel Cardano, to provide us with more updates on SCU. So good morning, Angel.
Thank you, Sir Jan. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so let me share my screen so that we have a visual. It will be a very quick update. The new changes, informations with our SCU. Let me know, sir, if you can see my screen now. Okay,
Yes, Angel.
still can see it? Okay. So again, welcome. Thank you so much for everyone who are able to join us today. And as I mentioned by John, it will be more about the education. But let me share with you some updates, exciting updates for SCU. First of all, we opened a new campuses with the SCU Metro Campus. Currently, we have Lismore, Gold Coast, Coffs Harbour, Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. And now we opened our Brisbane campuses. So it means that we have expanded our campuses, more options with your students. And as I mentioned by John earlier, Southern Cross University is now among the world top 500 universities. We are proud to share that SCU has ranked in the top 500 globally in the 2025 Times Higher Education World university rankings, making its more remarkable leap of over 80 place in just 1 year. So um, um, it's very good news. At the same time, this achievement highlights our growing strength in research excellence, academic expertise, and real-world impact. A true reflection of SCU commitment to innovations, quality education, and student success in all of our campuses. Besides on that, of course, we receive additional standing and ranking from different categories and departments, recognitions from academic ranking, world universities, and world ranking as well. And besides on that, as you see, our university on the rise, we are young universities, but in a very short period of time, we are receive a good rankings from different recognitions. And one of the highlight, or maybe one of the reason why a lot of students love to study in SCU is because of the way we teach. We have a unique teaching model. We call it Southern Cross model because in one academic year, we divide it into a 6 terms, and each term, the student can decide to enroll, maybe to skip a term, one subject or two subject at a time. It reflects and also is very effective in a way to have a more balance in life, steady workload, and of course, in their mental health. Because imagine in one term, they just need to successfully complete one subject or two subjects at a time only. So with this, we receive in the survey a good satisfaction rate coming from our students. And of course, for our international students, they're able to pass their studies. It's very important for them to know how we teach and what they can expect, how they will learn in SCU, and it's very effective for them to learn. As I mentioned, it's more balanced in their life, in their studies as well, and they're able to pass successfully completions of their studies with SCU. And of course, after completion, our employment outcomes for postgraduates, we have 92.2 overall employment with our postgraduates. And as I mentioned, we are overseeing the metro campuses. So for Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and Brisbane, these are the courses that we're offering right now. So we have information technology, very quick. Information technology, we have bachelor and master information technology. I tried to complete or compile all the rankings and also some recognitions that they were able to gain in studying IT in SCU. As you can see, it's accredited by the ACS, and all of our courses, information technology, either bachelor or master's, already included a placement and also a Microsoft credentials. So besides on the diploma that they will be gaining after completion of their studies, it also boosts their qualifications and skill set because they will be receiving different certifications coming from Microsoft. At the same time, they will be having a placement with a well-known hub in Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. Besides on the IT, we have businesses courses, of course. We have the Bachelor of Business and in Accounting, and also our Master of Business Administration. Very recent, we opened a new specialization in our business because we believe everything is now with AI. So even though they are not that more on technicalities, not really on the industry of information technology, we believe that they need to have the skill set for the AI. That's why we combined our business and business analytics and AI as well. So it's both available for bachelor and masters for our business administration. It's worth to take note that 93% of our graduates are employed in business and management industries. So they are able to use their qualifications and also related after completion studies in SU. And another quick update, new information. We are now offering a new course in our Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. We're now offering the engineering course. This is a civil engineering professionals design, plan, organize, and oversee the constructions of engineering. So this is a 2-year course duration, and of course, it is accredited by the engineers in Australia. And the main highlight for this session, for this today's webinar, is education. Later on, our guest speaker will be discussing more about the education, but let me give you some overview for our courses that we're offering right now. So we are offering graduate diploma of education in early childhood, and then graduate diploma of teaching in primary and secondary, and or master of teaching in early childhood. So as I mentioned later on, our speaker will talk about the placement and other informations about this course. So for our students coming from China, onshore and offshore, they can do package course, 1 year for graduate diploma and 1 year for master of teaching. It depends on their IELTS, or they can go directly with our master of teaching. And last but not the least, we launched because we believe that the student needs to be prepared for the full-time employment after completion. Network is very important and additional skill set. So besides on the skills that employers are looking for their employees, they should have the Australian experience as well. So SCU launched this career launchpad to help our students to prepare for the full-time employment, to gain additional skill set, and also for the networking. So this is a new or additional discount for our students. So a lot of students are even counselors asking what's the discount right now, the scholarship that we're offering. So currently we have the Access 26. This is a initiative from Southern Cross University to make our tuition fee flat, very affordable, and transparent to 26,000 AUD. So it's very witty and easy to remember. Access 26 for the year 2026, all of the courses that I've mentioned earlier, having a tuition fee of flat 26,000 AUD. Okay, so to wrap up, this is the courses, a list of the courses that we're offering right now. I highlighted the educations here. And as I mentioned, we opened our new campus in Brisbane. So meaning for our education courses, the student can apply for Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, or Brisbane campus, and all of our courses is flat 26,000 AUD. Okay, so one more thing. So we are also working and the commitment with our partners to provide a good customer service and also fast turnaround time. So it's a guarantee that once you or your partners able to submit applications in SCU Steadily, we're committed to deliver the outcome within 24 hours only. So it's a guaranteed 24 hours for the application outcome. And for the additional documents and GSR, it's still fast for within 5 days turnaround time. Okay, so that's it from my end for SCU updates. And now let's move on to the highlight of today's session, our exclusive Chinese partner webinar on the Master of Teaching Early Childhood at SCU Metro campuses. We're very fortunate to have with us the Professor Wendy Boyd, Chair of Discipline for Early Childhood Education and Care at Southern Cross University. She has over 25 years of hands-on experience as the rector of an early childhood center and more than 16 years in higher education within Southern Cross University. Her PhD explored parents' decisions around work and childcare, and her research focuses on quality, early childhood education, teacher development, and sustainability in learning. She has also worked with respected institutions such as QUT, NSW TAFE, and the National Childcare Accreditations Council. making her one of the most respected voices in early childhood education in Australia. So without further ado, let's all welcome Miss Professor Wendy Boyd, Chair of Discipline for Early Childhood Education and Care at Southern Cross University. So Miss Wendy, welcome, and I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Angel. That's a lovely introduction. And hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar for Southern Cross University. And as is our tradition in Australia, I would like to acknowledge the lands upon which we meet today, the elders, past, present, and emerging, recognising that they have been here for over 60,000 years. So I will just share my screen. There we are. Can you all see that?
Yes.
It's good. Thank you, John. So I'm Professor Wendy Boyd, and as Angel said, I have had extensive experience working in early childhood across Australia. And more recently, in the last 16 years, I've been fortunate to work at Southern Cross University in early childhood education and care as well. And yes, I am the Associate Dean of Education, but only until Friday in the Faculty of Education. And then will just be the Chair of Early Childhood Education and Care. We have had extraordinary growth in early childhood at Southern Cross University. We have 22 outstanding early childhood academics who have research and experience working in early childhood. Some of our colleagues come from China, from Bangladesh, from Syria, from Iran, from New Zealand, from Croatia, from Serbia, and of course from Australia. So we have a very diverse group of academics, which I think contributes to helping our students to feel at home when they come to study in Australia. So today I'm just going to talk to you about the Master of Teaching Early Childhood and also the Graduate Diploma of Education Early Childhood, because the Graduate Diploma is the first year of the Master of Teaching. The Master of Teaching is a 2-year program, and it qualifies you to be a teacher, an early childhood teacher in Australia and many countries overseas. And teaching is a career which can make a positive and lifelong impact upon the lives of children and young people. It's a very rewarding career, and our graduates say how much they have enjoyed our courses when they go out into our centres in Australia. Many of our graduates, but also return to their home country to set up early childhood centres in there. At the moment, you can study the Master of Teaching Early Childhood at the Gold Coast campus, at Sydney Metro, Melbourne Metro, Perth Metro, and Brisbane campuses. Or if your visa allows you, you can study fully online, where you don't have to attend a campus. And as Angel was saying, our 6-week study terms, in every week, we have an online tutorial that is 2 hours and a 1-hour workshop. And all of the material to be successful in the unit is up on our Blackboard sites, which enables students to be very flexible in the way they study. They can study online at their own time. We record the tutorials, we record the workshops, and so that makes attendance not as compulsory. But if they have a certain type of visa, we know that they have to study, attend classes as well. We have 3 intakes for 2026. There's an intake in term 1, which begins at the beginning of March. Then in term 3, which is the beginning of July, and term 5 is the beginning of November. Our term 5 new students have just started this week. So the Master of Teaching is a 2-year qualification. That's 2 years full time. And it's designed to work in early childhood settings. In Australia, early childhood settings can be childcare centres which have children aged from 6 weeks up to 6 years old. Or we may have preschools which have children from 3 years to 5 years. Or some childcare centres take only children from 2 years to 6 years old. Entry into the Master of Teaching is via a degree in any discipline. It can be engineering, science, or computer science, English, whatever, so long as it is recognised according to the Australian degree standards. And the qualification, the Master of Teaching, it's accredited by the Australian Children's Education and Care Quality Authority. That means that anybody who has a Master of Teaching is accredited to be a teacher in early childhood in those 6 weeks to 6 years settings. The first year of the Master of Teaching is the graduate diploma, so I just thought it would be important to talk to you about this for a little while. There's, in Australia, there is strong demand for early childhood qualified teachers, and as Angel showed you, our employment rate of our graduates is around 92%, and that's because that we need not only early childhood teachers, but Angela also referred to business graduates as well. So there is strong demand for our courses at Southern Cross University. The graduate diploma, it also qualifies people who complete it with an early childhood teacher qualification. So the Master of Teaching is like an add-on year to being a teacher, but you become a more qualified teacher. Within the graduate diploma, we have early childhood. EC stands for early childhood. Early childhood principles. So what principles do we bring to the way that we work with children? How do we work with babies? How do we work with 2-year-olds? And what practices do we have? How do we play with them? How do we encourage them to play with each other? And how do we encourage them to learn and develop in the best way possible? In the graduate diploma, we also have units around what are contemporary issues in early childhood in Australia. Some contemporary issues are that we have a workforce shortage, which is very, very difficult because our centres can't get enough teachers, trained teachers. We have an Australian early years curriculum framework for birth to 5. It's called Being, Belonging and Becoming. And we also have a national quality standard. So all of our early childhood centres in Australia have, if they get government funding, which most of them do, they have to be assessed and rated under the national quality standard. So our students learn about how to ensure that they provide a quality early childhood by studying the graduate diploma and learning about the national quality standard. Many of our students, when they are graduates and early childhood teachers, also become the educational leader in the early childhood setting. So there is a unit that they study called Leadership and Management. They need to learn how to run an early childhood centre and how to support the staff and lead the staff so that the children are learning and developing in the best way possible. In the graduate diploma, there are 60 days of professional experience. And this is, I'll talk to you about that in a little slide in a little way, but the professional experience times, they're broken into 30 days each. There's 2 placements. There's one in February, one in May, one in September and one in November. Of course, not all students do those February, May, September and November. They will do 2 of those, 2 30-day placements. The Master of Teaching, it also includes the graduate diploma. So it includes the principles and practices of working with children, how to work with children and families and communities. It also has units on literacy and language and health and well-being and how to do the creative arts in early childhood. And because it's a Masters of Teaching, it's important that students understand research. So there's 2 units called Teachers as Research 1 and Teachers as Researchers 2. And in these 2 units, the students do some very fundamental research that they can then take that skill into their early childhood setting so that they can survey the parents or survey the community as to what needs doing in their centre. The Master of Teaching also includes a unit on children having special or additional needs and how we must include them. Australia has a very proud education system where all children are included in education. And this unit assists the students who will be graduates to ensure that children such as with autism are included into their practice. And because of our long history as a nation of Indigenous peoples, we have a unit on Indigenous education and a unit on child development, which is also called Brain and Learning. So there's the actual study units. There's 16 study units across those 8 study terms. And then there are the 60 days placement that I was referring to before. So there's 30 days that the students have to do with children aged from 3 to 5 years. In Australia, we call this group the preschool years. And then there's 30 days with children under 3 years, and we call this the infant and toddlers children. Professional experience is one of the most enjoyable parts of the course. It gives the students an opportunity to really apply what they've been learning in class and see how the children respond to it. Students do love it, but they're also a bit anxious about going out on placement. And it's because Australia is culturally different to overseas countries, it can be further challenging, even if you have English as a second language as well. But the lovely thing is because Australia is a very diverse country, our students do find communities where they fit in very well. There's some really important preparation that needs to be done before students go out on placement. These are called the mandatory placement checks, MPCs. Ooh, here we go. And so students have to study child protection, how to keep children safe. They have to study and they have to get a blue card if they work in Queensland, for example, or are working with children check in another states to show that they don't have a criminal record when they've worked with children in the past. They also have to study a code of ethics, how to conduct themselves well professionally. And other courses they have to do include anaphylaxis training. So you might have heard that if a child, anaphylaxis means if a child is very allergic to foods, then they might choke, and some children have allergies to peanuts, for example. And so our students have to know about that before they go out on placement so that they can assist their teachers that they're working with to respond. 60 days for postgraduates, and the students are always placed near where the students live. But we also have other programs where students can take up a scholarship and say, I want to go and do my placement somewhere else, say 200 kilometres away, and the university will support their accommodation to do their placement away from where they're currently living. If the students are working in an early childhood centre, and if once the students are enrolled in the graduate diploma or the Master of Teaching, then they can apply to actually work in an early childhood centre. And they are really well supported when they go out on placement. We have university supervisors that check in with the students to make sure they're going okay on their 30 days placement. And then when they're in the early childhood centre, we pay the mentor teachers to support the students to do as best they can and to be the best teacher that they can be. Our graduate outcomes, so the university has what we call graduate outcomes. We have 7 of these, and we have mapped the Master of Teaching program to the graduate outcomes. So for example, graduate outcome 1 is about intellectual rigor. And within the Master of Teaching, one of our goals is for the students to understand how to research, to synthesize, create, and evaluate complex ideas and theories. For them also to apply knowledge and understanding of diverse ways of knowing and learning. Graduate outcome 2 is about creativity, and this is for students to investigate, analyse and synthesize knowledge in educational settings, and so on. So the 3rd graduate outcome is ethical practice. The 4th one is knowledge of a discipline, and in this case, it's about how to be an early childhood teacher. The 5th one is about lifelong learning and how to build yourself and develop yourself personally and professionally. And that also relates to graduate outcome 6, which is about your communication and social skills. And if you're going to go and work in the workforce, our graduates need to have very good communication and social skills, and to learn how to be a leader as well in the Master of Teaching. And then with regards to our graduate outcome attribute number 7, the cultural competence. So in this course, the students learn how to implement respect for diversity in oneself and in others, and to apply a broad knowledge of the impacts of culture, cultural identity, and linguistic backgrounds of education of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm happy now to take questions or have comments if you'd like to do that. Back to you, John. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Wendy. Currently, we have a couple of questions from the chat box. This question is from Wing Zhu. For students who may not have a teaching background, which program would you actually recommend? What should be the best starting point? Should it be the graduate diploma in early childhood or direct entry to the master's degree?
Well, I think it should be the graduate diploma of early childhood, and then the student can find out whether this is what they really want to do. You wouldn't want to enroll in the master's and start studying and go, oh, I don't really want to be a teacher at all. So you can try it out, the graduate diploma of education early childhood. And it is just the 1-year program, and it also qualifies you to be a teacher. So if your visa allows you, you don't have to go on to be a Master of Teaching.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Wendy. Another question, this time from Ms. Wendy Hu. Could you please explain the main difference between graduate diploma and Master of Teaching in terms of career outcomes? Good question.
Yes, it is a good question. If you have a Master of Teaching in early childhood, I think you will be probably looked upon more favourably. You will have higher status. It is a harder course, and consequently there is more respect, I suppose, in Australia for more study and higher level of study. It is what we call in Australia AQF level 9, which is just one below a PhD, whereas a graduate diploma is an AQF level 8. And a Bachelor of Education is a AQF level 7. So it has more status and appeal. So that would support your employability as a teacher.
Apart from status and appeal, does it have any difference as well with regards to potential income after finishing any of the course?
I don't know. I don't know because in early childhood centres across Australia, there are individual enterprise agreements. And so there's not any one set award for if you have a master's training or if you have a graduate diploma training. It depends on the early childhood centre. Some early childhood centres recognise a master's, others don't.
I see. Okay, another question, Prof. Wendy, from Mr. James Duan. The program mentions research in early childhood. What opportunities do students have to explore their own research interests?
Well, in those two teachers as researchers units, they learn about how to write up a research proposal in the first unit, and they write their research proposal. That is part of their assessment for that unit, and how to and they choose an area of interest. For example, they might be interested in what areas do children like to play in the best in an early childhood centre? Do they prefer to play in the block corner or outside in the sand pit or ride the bikes or whatever? So they will learn how to, they write that as a research proposal. They will look at the past research that's been done on that to write a literature review. And then they will work out how they're going to collect their data. Will they observe some children in a centre, or will they just interview parents and ask the parents' perspectives, maybe interview, just do a small study, say, for example, 5 parents, and then they will write up their results and write it up as a research investigation, research report. So then the graduates will have the opportunity to understand what research is all about and be able to apply that as a teacher.
And I'm interested to know, Prof. Wendy, is this research a subject, a full subject? How many units, or is it just a prerequisite to one of the subjects of the Master of Teaching?
There's two I'm a bit unsure about your question, John.
Is this a full unit subject, the research itself? Yeah.
It's 2 of them, 2 units.
Okay, 2 units. Okay.
It's 12 weeks of study, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question from Sarah Lee. What kind of personal growth or transformation do students usually experience after studying early childhood education at SCU? Good question.
It's a lovely question, and it's very, I have the opportunity to read the students' final professional experience reports and sign off on them. And I then often talk to the students, and the students are just so proud of themselves that they've actually got through the course, because it's very challenging for them coming from a different country, and then having to learn and study the Southern Cross University way, which is for all of us, like for John and Angel as well. If we were to go to another university, we would have to learn how to study and work at a different university. So we have different technology systems, and that alone is a challenge. But then the students have to learn about the units and be successful in the units, the different cultural ways that we have of assessing students' knowledge and learning. And by the time they finish, they're very employable. I have had centre directors, that's people who run the early childhood centres, say to me, we love your students, we employ your students, because they just grow and they really fit in well to Australian society.
Great. And Prof. Wendy, in relation to this, I do understand the big demand of early childhood teachers in Australia, and some international students might be attracted to the fact that the demand is really high. And maybe some of them will eventually find out that they don't have that inclination to teach students, especially these are very young children. I'm sure you have experienced students maybe seeking advice from you. What you usually tell them in those situations?
Oh, you have to really, the students need to try and find out what it is they really want to do. If they think they don't want to be a teacher, then that's fine. But and then sometimes they can, so for example, if they studied 4 units and they realised they didn't want to keep going, they can withdraw from the course and get an exit award, like a graduate certificate, which can then help them to get into another course. They might think, well, maybe I should try business or technology, and that can help them with an entry into those sorts of programs. So yeah, it's hard to know. It's I think we all know how hard it is to make up our minds about what careers we want to do, and it's hard to know when you're younger, isn't it? And then you find something you really like and you stay with it. John, I think you're frozen.
Yeah, I think I've lost my internet connection for a few
There we
seconds
go.
there.
Yeah, great.
Thank you for that, Prof. Wendy. Do we have any other questions from anyone? I guess not. Just a reminder, everyone, maybe I'll give a context first. You may have seen the quick poll that I just sent through earlier. And the context here is that, well, thank you for all those hundreds of applications we have received from offshore China for Master of Teaching Early Childhood. And a lot of those students are definitely going ahead. Some of them don't. And we would like to understand what kind of support would be most helpful, particularly on the context of China students, in helping you convert those applications, those Master of Teaching Early Childhood applicants into actual enrollments. So please, so far we have half of the participants answering the question, the survey. Please do so to those who haven't yet answered. This would give us an idea on what kind of activities would we be doing in support of our partners in China. Okay, so I don't see any questions anymore. So maybe Angel, could you please provide a quick closing remark for everyone?
Of course, sorry. So again, thank you so much, everyone. I saw a lot of familiar names. At the same time, the questions are very good questions. We learn a lot from them. At the same time, a good reference and help with the GSR as well. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Miss Wendy Boyd. Again, thank you for the insightful session regarding with the early childhood. As John with my co-host. So after this, we will be sending the PowerPoint presentation and also the recording. So again, thank you so much and good afternoon, everyone.
Bye.
Angel.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Prof.
John. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.